Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of this very important podcast series. Interviewing practitioners of Qigong and Tai Chi has been really a game changer for me, even though I have had my own experience of how Qigong and Tai Chi have changed my life. I want to invite you to come to attention and really listen because today I promise you're going to learn some very important lessons and tools. Today, my guest is Linda Anne Goulet. Linda Anne brings ancient wisdom to modern wellness through her diverse healing practices. As a certified senior trainer of Integral Qigong and Tai Chi, she guides students through powerful Qigong movement meditations as well as many Tai Chi forms. Her expansive toolkit includes breathwork, Reiki mastery, and shamanic healing as a rainbow jaguar mesa carrier. With compassionate presence as an end-of-life doula, Linda Anne helps others navigate life's profound transitions. Her unique weekend workshops, Meeting Grief, blend movements with grief work, creating spaces for deep healing. Whether in group classes or private sessions, she meets each person with heart-centered awareness and years of dedicated practice. Hi, Linda Anne.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
I want to tell you, I feel literally emotion coming up in me already. I could honestly cry from the blessing of what you're providing through the various ways that you do this work. So first of all, on behalf of the universe, thank you.
More than welcome.
Secondly, I want to let you know, Linda Anne, that, or I can let our listeners know that you were one of my teachers in my level 2 certification training that I took recently. And there was many things that were important and helpful for me. But one of the things you did was so impactful. I can't even tell you how impactful it was. And it was the organ massage of the gut. And so one of the things about Qigong is the different baskets and self-massage and what we learn about organs. And I really, you show up, you're doing your thing. You don't know how anybody's really reacting to it. So I honestly, truly am delighted to take the opportunity to let you know. Do you remember that day that you did that?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I have someone in my life who has gut issues. And of course, we know many people have gut issues today. And so that gut organ massage was really helpful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that was helpful. I think that's one of those things that we often don't really do massage for ourselves in that area, and being able to touch and feel into what we can't see and offer that kind of loving attention is really huge. It's a big blessing.
It's huge. And also, it's one of the things I've learned through Qigong. But before we go any further, let me ask you to share your story about how Qigong or Tai Chi impacted or even changed your life.
Yeah, it's a great question. It had me thinking when this came up that we might have this time together, and I started thinking, it's such a big question, but I have to go back to this the thread. There is a thread, and it was around 2000, and my dad was one of 12 children, and my first auntie got sick at my age, 65. She got sick, and it became clear. We learned she had pulmonary fibrosis.
Oh.
And it became this thing. It turns out it runs in family units. And over time, 11 of the 12, actually 10 of the 12 died of pulmonary fibrosis. So I was acutely aware of lung issues from 2000 on. And, in the medicine world, lungs and grief go hand in hand. You want to keep your lungs healthy. So I started right away exploring at that time, getting into Reiki and taking some Tai Chi classes, which led me to Qigong. And that became the kind of game changer. I love Tai Chi, but Qigong has this sort of way of, well, we know it's meditative, it's breath work, it's movement, it can be as cosmic as you want it to be. And that works for me. And so when I took primordial way back with Roger at Esalen,
Ah,
Roger Yanka, our master teacher. And that practice really started something for me of attending to the depth of my breath. And it's been a complete game changer for my personal health. I think when I was 22, I went to my first acupuncture. So that's a way back. And she said to me at the time, you want to be careful about your lungs. And I kind of thought, well, what's she saying that for? I'm young and healthy. And, who knew that decades later that was going to show up as kind of like, oh, right, pay attention to the lungs. So the other way that Qigong is weaving in to this kind of thread is that the grief work that I do now, I think about that a lot, the clarity of the lungs, the breath medicine, helping people to use Qigong to move grief, to move these things through. So Qigong is just beyond for me. It's been a game changer, and it's led me down pathways I did not expect to get to. I was started as just your basic special ed school teacher, and did that for a very, very long time, but always had this running path of this healing arts that I did at the same time. But when I retired, a number of years ago, it's just blossomed. And those threads have really become the most important thing probably for me right now. So, yeah.
I mean, like I said, I have my own grief journey, of course, as every human breathing does. And the idea of doing end of life doula work, and now, we teach what we know. 10 of 12
Mm-hmm.
in a family unit died of pulmonary fibrosis. What I know is the organ work in Qigong, connecting the organs to the emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and how actually real, powerful, and deep it is when you bring in the energy and you can support your own organs. But then this weird, crazy thing when you were 22, a
Yeah.
healthy young woman, and an energy worker told you, tune into your lungs.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That is really, really huge. So
Synchronicities, the universe giving you a little tap, tap.
yes, definitely. And also, how aware or awake were you at 22?
Not so much. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
I was fascinated with herbs at that time, but I grew up in just outside of Boston. I did not grow up on a farm. I did not have that sort of a situation. I was in a pretty urban area, and fascinated by plants. And so that I was definitely curious, but not knowledgeable, and definitely not tuned in yet.
Well, the plants connect to the earth.
Mm-hmm.
The earth connects to nature, connects to the sacred rhythms that we call in, that are infused in the modality. I call Qigong and Tai Chi a modality. And the way you described, Tai Chi is cool, which it is. I love it also. I love the movement. I do love the movement. Of course, we have movements in Qigong, but bringing the ability to come in. You were a special ed teacher, doubtless living a high stress life. That's a very high stress circumstance. And so the ability to come into alignment, to bring yourself into alignment, then over the course of however many years this has been for you now, you really created a channel with the organ connection. I guess it's that thread. It's like a tapestry that you've woven with that thread.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
That's what it feels like.
A side note on the education part. I used to do Tai Chi movements with my students. at the middle school. And I have to say, it was fantastic. They really loved it. We did breath practices. We got our school involved in doing tapping with sixth
Oh,
graders, teaching them stress reduction. So we started
wow.
pulling in all these things. I had a really great school that was very open-minded and some willing and able teachers. So, you can bring this stuff into the young ones too, and that's pretty cool.
Not just you can. I spoke with Jennifer Weiss this morning, who has a game she's creating, and
Oh, and about baby cheese.
honest, I had a freak out. I honestly did, because not only do I think the opportunity is there, I think for our youngers, I call them our youngers, because I'm pretty old now myself, our younger generations, starting with young professionals down, you talk about middle schoolers. She's
Mhm.
talking about 6 to 8-year-olds. I mean, this is absolutely vitally necessary.
Mhm.
Vitally necessary. I'm kind of, claiming that and calling that in. So I love that you literally just told us it's true. You
It
used
was,
it with your middle schoolers. That's amazing. I
yeah.
want to ask you to share with us whatever you want to share with us about your meet and grief
Mm.
workshops. Now, I know they're in person. Can you remind me where you're located?
I'm actually in Monterey, California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, this thing is the need for people to experience support and help with their grief is beyond. It's like an epidemic right now.
Yes.
And a part of that to me is we've frozen it like it's a plague to sit with someone in sorrow. We isolate them or we comfort them at the moment of, say, someone loses someone. Everyone rushes in. We have rituals for about a week or two, and then everything fades away, and that person is left.
Mm.
And our culture kind of does this: suck it up, come on now, okay, got to get on, you got to live life. You're not dead. It prolongs the suffering to me. And so the first thing I would note is, for me, grief is not something you get over. It's not the enemy. It's what we learn to walk beside. And so my partner, um, Kim Birdsong, and I do this together. And she's a longtime trainer, out of working with Francis Weller, who wrote The Wild Edge of Sorrow and created this, based on the Doggerah tradition,
Mm.
way of writing and having these gates of grief. And she's one of the few people he's really vetted and supports our work, which is a little different than his. But basically, we call it meeting grief because it's learning how to be beside it, how to live with it, how to create spaces where you can breathe more freely. But when the wave of grief comes forward, we know how to navigate it a little bit more skillfully. And that's really, um, that's kind of the whole premise of this. So it's it's getting to know it. It's learning how to accept it. And primarily it's being witnessed with loving acceptance in your
Mm.
grief, warts and all. If you need to howl, you howl. If you need to collapse, you collapse. And we support without judgment. And so there's a writing component to the workshop. There's speaking out. I do a kind of shamanic ritual with that where we use stones to release the stories into the stones. Stones are great carriers of our stories. And I use qigong when everyone's done with their sharing and we've witnessed. Then we do movements that help to move the energy. So qigong has become just absolutely critical, and that's, I think, perhaps a different kind of an experience than some grief workshops. And it's vital. That somatic release, being able to move together in an expression of the gate that we were just at. So if the sorrows of the world is one of the gates, and I will lead them through a meditation using the movements of gathering from earth and sky, but building a garden in our hearts and connecting to the earth, because that gate happens to be about the grief of loss of connection to nature. So it's profound. These experiences are kind of mind-blowing to me, because people come out of that just feeling so empowered, and not cured. I want to be clear. This is not like, we're not looking to cure anything. We're looking to help you navigate it. So we hold these weekend workshops once a month, and it's a long weekend. They're,
Oh,
we do, a Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday morning. It's not particularly expensive. In fact, we've been told it's silly what we're asking, but we want it to be accessible.
accessible to people.
So for the weekend, it's, I don't know, perhaps, I think we're up to maybe $400. Much,
Right.
given what they do. But it's also, we receive so much from the people who come, because they're brave and courageous to show up in their sorrow and their pain and take that risk. It's huge. I am in awe of those who come and participate, because that's medicine for me, for
I
sure.
totally get that. Now, about how many for this type of workshop that you're describing, which, just Linda Ann, just to the way I look at life, the way I see things, you're speaking this out. Somebody might not be able to come to your workshop, but you're coming here and really speaking this out, speaking the energy of this out. It really is edifying. Even if people tune in to what it is that you're sharing, the precepts, the ideas, they may not be trained, but there's still things that they can learn here. When when you said releasing the story into the stones, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I mean, I had a grief journey, a very tragic and traumatic grief journey with my husband. And I walked the mountains of Sedona for 4 months. Honestly, I did 400 miles, and I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I'm here to say, if you listen to Linda Ann's words, I was basically releasing the grief to the stones. They supported me.
Yeah.
And when you said it that way, I was like, oh, damn, that's what I was really doing. Yeah. So, how many people might come to a workshop like this?
Well, we have several ways of doing it, but right now, the typical one is about 8 people.
Yeah, so they are small. They need to be small. Yeah.
But we also have done them as big as 20. And so we're getting full. I think we're going to be heading out to Wisconsin to work with caregivers of people with dementia. And that will be a group of about 20.
Yeah.
And we might be ending up in Alaska. It's like all of a sudden, which speaks to the need. We're being asked to come and serve.
Right. It's so beautiful. I mean, I can't believe it. We really only have another minute or two left. There's so much to say about this, and it's so important. And I lived almost 57 years of my life without experiencing acute grief. And then the next 4 years, I experienced acute grief once a year. And my best friend, Debbie, taught me grief visits. And that was like, what you're teaching us here. You talked about people often stay frozen in grief because they don't know how to emotionally process or use somatic, work to allow it to move through to the point where you get to allow grief to walk beside you, or you walk beside it. I love this. This is true. I mean, I will live the rest of my life walking beside the grief of losing my husband, of course, but not feel like this idea alone is like, oh, I get to keep him with me in that way.
Yeah.
I get to not judge myself for being like, get over it. It's been a few years already. I love also, of course, writing. I'm a writer, so I always appreciate how you can, writing is a form of purging it out of you. I love this idea that you talk about meeting grief.
Mm-hmm.
And I have also done work in this type of personification, and to the point of even loving grief, whereby in some ways it might even be soothing you. And also, Linda Anne, I really just want to say again, on behalf of the world, thank you for this work, because my own daughters obviously are in grief, and there isn't a soul that I know, just like you said, it really truly is an epidemic. So where can people find you? Where would they come to find you?
Well, the workshops are advertised on Francis Weller's website, for one. That's one place you can see it. And we do a registration date. Honestly, they fill up within hours, but we do a wait list.
Yeah.
And then my website is www. Gucci, because my last name Goulet, right? But it's GOU-CHI.com. And you can read all about it there.
Okay, that's really great. So we're going to definitely send people there, because we're witnessing in this moment. I know, because I kind of am a little of a futurist and a seer. We're witnessing the evolution of what you've been doing here to something like this. Yeah. It's already started. You talked about it, and you and your partner will be figuring that out, and the need is there. And also, to tell you the truth, you just told us, for anyone who's listening, there's important work out there to be done. And if you're not already involved doing Qigong, based on this conversation, now you have another reason to do that. It's awkward, like, I'm going to start doing Qigong because I could support people in grief. I'm okay with that. Right.
Whatever gets you there.
Exactly. Whatever gets you there. Exactly. Oh my gosh, this is so great. I want to say, keep up the great work. Thank you so much. And also, thank you for being my teacher, and also keep saying yes to teaching when the opportunity presents itself, because you're a wonderful teacher. So thank you very much, Linda Anne, and I'll look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. I really, really appreciated this. Thank you.
My pleasure.